The story of architecture in New York City is one of ambition, innovation, and cultural evolution. From humble Dutch beginnings to a global metropolis filled with iconic skyscrapers, the city's skyline reflects the ever-changing dreams and aspirations of its people. In the early 1600s, the Dutch settlers of New Amsterdam built modest wooden structures, reminiscent of their homeland. These simple homes were designed for practicality, with steep roofs to shed snow and narrow windows to keep the cold at bay. When the British took control in 1664 and renamed the city New York, architectural styles began to shift. Brick and stone became more common, and Georgian-style buildings emerged, characterized by symmetry, columns, and gabled roofs. One of the finest examples of this era is Frances Tavern, built in 1719 and still standing today. As New York grew into a major port city in the 19th century, its architecture reflected the prosperity and expanding economy. The Greek Revival style took hold, inspired by the ideals of democracy and classical antiquity. Stately townhouses with grand entrances and Ionic columns began lining the streets, especially in neighborhoods like Greenwich Village. However, one of the most defining architectural innovations of the 19th century in New York was the cast-iron architecture of Soho. B.V. Howell Building, 1857, is a prime example of this trend, where entire building facades were made from prefabricated iron sections. Cast iron allowed for larger windows, more intricate designs, and quicker construction, making it a favorite in the booming commercial districts. By the late 19th century, New York was becoming overcrowded, and architects began to look upward. The invention of steel frames and elevators revolutionized building design, giving rise to the age of the skyscraper. The Flatiron Building, 1902, with its striking triangular shape, became one of the city's first iconic high-rises. Designed by Daniel Burnham, it set a new standard for urban architecture. The early 20th century saw the construction of architectural giants that would forever define New York's skyline. The Chrysler Building, 1930, is a masterpiece of Art Deco design, with its gleaming spire and sunburst motifs. A symbol of the Jazz Age, its construction was a race for height and prestige, briefly holding the title of the world's tallest building. Just a few years later, the Empire State Building, 1931, would surpass the Chrysler in both height and fame. Standing at 1,454 feet, it became a global icon of modernity and engineering prowess. Built in just over a year during the Great Depression, it symbolized New York's resilience and ambition. After World War II, New York underwent another architectural transformation. The rise of modernism and the international style brought sleek, glass and steel buildings to the forefront. Architects like Ludwig Mies van der Rohe and Le Corbusier inspired a new generation of designers. One of the most prominent examples from this era is the Seagram Building, 1958, designed by Mies van der Rohe and Philip Johnson. Its minimalist design, bronze-tinted glass, and clean lines became the standard for corporate America. At the same time, urban renewal projects reshaped neighborhoods and brought new architectural philosophies to life. The most controversial of these was Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts, 1960s, which combined modernist ideals with grand public spaces. The construction of the World Trade Center, 1973, added a new dimension to New York's skyline. The Twin Towers, designed by Minoru Yamasaki, stood at 1,368 and 1,362 feet, becoming the tallest buildings in the world at the time.